I stare at the woman bleeding out on my apartment floor and think, this is exactly why I don't go to clubs on Tuesdays. Her eyes lock onto mine, dark and furious even as blood seeps through her designer suit. If you call an ambulance, you're dead. Her voice is velvet wrapped around a blade, and something in my stomach does this weird flip that's absolutely inappropriate given the circumstances. Well, that's a terrible pickup line, I say, because apparently my mouth has decided tonight's the night we die. I'm already grabbing towels, my hands shaking as I press them against the gunshot wound in her side. Most people start with their name. Valerie Adams. She says it like a death sentence. My hands freeze. Even I, a perpetually broke art teacher who thinks the mafia is just a fun movie genre, know that name. Valerie Adams. The Bloody Rose of Brighton Beach. The woman who allegedly fed her own uncle to sharks for skimming profits. The reason grown men cross the street in broad daylight. Oh, fantastic, I mutter, pressing harder as she hisses in pain. I saved Brooklyn's Most Wanted. Mom was right, I do make terrible life choices. Your mother sounds wise. Her lips twitch. She's smiling. This psychopath is smiling while bleeding out on my vintage rug that took me 6 months to save for. If you're enjoying this disaster, hit that like button because trust me, it gets so much worse. Let me back up. 6 hours ago, I was at Canvas, this overpriced club in Williamsburg that my best friend Priya dragged me to because apparently I need to live a little and stop spending Friday nights with Netflix and my cat. Mr. Whiskers is offended by that characterization, for the record. He's excellent company. I was nursing my second overpriced cocktail, wondering if I could fake a family emergency when this woman walked past me. Not Valerie. Some other woman in a red dress who was clearly in a hurry, bumping into me hard enough that my drink sloshed onto my shoes. Sorry, she muttered, not sounding sorry at all, and disappeared into the crowd. I didn't think anything of it until I left an hour later, taking the alley shortcut to the subway because I'm apparently determined to star in my own true crime podcast. That's when I found her. Valerie. Slumped against a dumpster, one hand pressed to her side, blood pooling on the concrete. Our eyes met. She tried to stand, failed, and that's when I made the monumentally stupid decision to help instead of run. Can you walk? I asked, already moving toward her. Clever girl would leave, she managed, but she was already leaning on me, and God, she was heavy for someone so lean. Good thing I teach art, not rocket science. I half carried, half dragged her the 3 blocks to my apartment, every shadow making my heart jump. Why aren't you calling your people? Don't crime lords have, like, emergency numbers? Can't trust anyone right now. Her breath was hot against my ear. Inside job. And that's how I ended up here, with a mobster bleeding on my floor and my entire life spiraling into chaos. The stitching process is nightmare fuel. I'm using YouTube tutorials and a sewing kit I bought for a craft project I never finished, which feels very on-brand for my life. Valerie doesn't scream, which is somehow more terrifying than if she did. She just watches me with those dark eyes, occasionally offering commentary. You have steady hands, she observes as I make another careful stitch. You'd make a decent field medic. Thanks, that's exactly the career pivot I was considering. My voice shakes. Right after accomplice to organized crime and future murder victim. I won't kill you. Super reassuring from someone called the Bloody Rose. She actually laughs at that, then immediately regrets it, her face contorting in pain. That nickname is propaganda. I only fed one uncle to sharks, and he deserved it. Only one uncle. Right. Totally normal. But here's the thing that's messing with my head. Despite the blood and the crime and the very real possibility that I'm going to die tonight, there's something about her. The way she looks at me isn't threatening. It's curious. Almost gentle. I finish the last stitch and sit back, my hands trembling with leftover adrenaline. You need antibiotics. Real medical attention. This is going to get infected. I'll manage. She's already trying to sit up, and I push her back down with probably more force than is wise when dealing with a mafia boss. You'll manage by dying on my floor? Hard pass. I just cleaned. Her eyes narrow, but there's amusement there. You're bossy for someone who could be disposed of very easily. And you're stubborn for someone currently at my mercy. I stand, heading to my bathroom cabinet. I have some leftover antibiotics from when I had strep. It's probably fine. Medical ethics are already out the window tonight. When I come back, she's looking around my apartment with an expression I can't quite read. You live alone? Me and Mr. Whiskers. I gesture to my cat, who's watching Valerie with intense suspicion from atop the bookshelf. He's usually friendlier, but he has excellent instincts about dangerous people. Smart cat. Valerie takes the pills I offer, swallowing them dry like a complete sociopath. You should get rid of your phone. They might trace it. Who's they? The people who shot me. The people who want me dead. Take your pick, the list is extensive. She says it so matter-of-factly that I almost laugh. Do you have a burner? Do I look like someone who owns a burner phone? I teach 8-year-olds about color theory. The most illegal thing I've done is torrenting Game of Thrones. She reaches into her jacket, wincing, and pulls out a phone. Use this. Your old number is compromised if they've been tracking me. How would they track you here? The woman in the red dress at the club. She bumped into you, didn't she? My blood runs cold. How did you know? Because I've been followed for 3 days. She planted a tracker. Probably in your pocket or bag. Valerie's voice is tired now, the adrenaline fading. Check. I dig through my purse with shaking hands and find it. A tiny device, no bigger than a button, stuck to my wallet. Oh my God. Destroy it. Flush it. Then we wait. Wait for what? For them to come. She closes her eyes. Or for me to heal enough to leave. Whichever happens first. Subscribe and comment below because this nightmare is just getting started. Valerie stays. Not because I'm particularly hospitable, but because she physically cannot leave without passing out. The next 3 days are the weirdest of my life, and I once accidentally went to a furry convention thinking it was a cat adoption event. Day 1, she mostly sleeps, which is good because it gives me time to have a full mental breakdown in my bathroom. I call in sick to work, which isn't even a lie because I'm definitely sick with anxiety and possibly an accomplice to murder. Day 2, she's more alert and consequently more judgmental about my life choices. This couch offends me, Valerie announces from where she's lying, bandaged and bossy. She's somehow made even my ratty pajamas look elegant. It's beige. Who chooses beige? People on a budget, Your Majesty. I'm stress-eating cereal straight from the box at 10 in the morning. Some of us can't afford Italian leather stained with our enemies' tears. That's not how leather staining works. I wouldn't know. I shop at IKEA. She makes a noise that might be amusement. You're funny. I haven't killed anyone funny in years. That's romantic. Really. My heart's aflutter. But here's the deeply concerning thing, it actually kind of is. She's been here 48 hours and I've learned she takes her coffee black, reads poetry in Russian when she thinks I'm asleep, and has this way of looking at me like I'm a puzzle she's trying to solve instead of a witness she should eliminate. Also, she's devastatingly beautiful. Even bleeding and exhausted, there's something magnetic about her. It's unfair, really. Shouldn't crime lords come with some kind of visible warning label? What are you thinking about? She asks, catching me staring. How statistically unlikely it is that I'd find a wounded mobster attractive. I should probably see a therapist about this. She blinks, then laughs. Actually laughs, full and surprised. You think I'm attractive? Have you seen you? You look like you stepped out of a very expensive perfume commercial. The kind where nothing makes sense, but everyone's cheekbones are amazing. You're very strange, Dorothy Clay. The fact that she remembers my full name from when I told her during the stitching process does something weird to my chest. Strange is better than boring. Much better. The way she says it makes me forget how to breathe for a second. Day 3 is when things shift. I'm making breakfast, which consists of scrambled eggs that are definitely overcooked because I keep getting distracted by Valerie doing stretches in my living room. She's moving better now, though she still winces when she bends certain ways. You're staring again, she says without turning around. You're doing exercises in my apartment. Where else should I look? She turns, and there's something different in her expression. Something softer. Come here. I should not obey commands from mafia bosses. This is how people end up in barrels. But my feet are already moving, carrying me across the small space until I'm standing in front of her. Thank you, she says quietly. For saving me. For not calling the police. For your terrible stitching that will definitely leave a scar. Hey, I did my best with limited resources. I know. Her hand reaches up, and I freeze as she tucks a strand of hair behind my ear. You're a good person, Dorothy. Better than anyone in my world. I'm a person who's currently harboring a fugitive. That's not exactly Girl Scout behavior. No, but it's brave. Her thumb traces my cheekbone, and I forget how to form words. You could have left me to die. Most people would have. Should have. Well, I'm not most people. I'm the idiot who brings home stray cats and apparently stray crime lords. She smiles, and it transforms her face from intimidating to breathtaking. I'm grateful for that idiocy. We're standing too close. I can see flecks of gold in her dark eyes, can smell her perfume mixed with the copper tang of blood. This is insane. This is dangerous. This is probably going to end with me dead or in witness protection. I kiss her anyway. Or maybe she kisses me. It's hard to tell because we both move at the same time, our mouths meeting in the middle with a desperation that speaks of stolen moments and borrowed time. Her hands are in my hair, mine are gripping her shirt, careful of her injury, and for a few perfect seconds, nothing else exists. When we break apart, we're both breathing hard. That was stupid, I whisper. Monumentally stupid, she agrees. We should probably not do that again. Definitely not. We kiss again immediately, and this time it's slower, deeper, full of promise and threat in equal measure. When we finally separate, her forehead rests against mine. I have to leave soon, she says. It's not safe for you if I stay. Where will you go? I have places. Safe houses. People who are loyal, assuming they haven't all turned on me. She pulls back, and the loss of her warmth feels physical. But first, I need to figure out who wants me dead. Besides everyone? Besides everyone. She moves to my window, peering through the curtains. The attack was coordinated. Professional. That means it came from inside, from someone who knows my routines, my security. Your uncle. She glances back, surprised. You know about Dimitri? I read Wikipedia articles about crime families when I'm procrastinating. Don't judge me. I would never. But she's smiling. Yes, Dimitri is the obvious suspect. He's been pushing for more aggressive expansion, more violence. I've been pulling back, trying to legitimize some of our operations. We've been at odds. So he decided to kill you? It's the family business. Literally. She turns fully to face me. There's also Anton Volkov. He leads a rival family. We've had a tentative truce, but he might see weakness as opportunity. This is literally like The Godfather, but with more attractive women. I'm glad you find my attempted assassination cinematic. I find everything about this situation unhinged. I'm coping with humor. It's my process. My phone buzzes. My real phone, the one I haven't destroyed yet because I'm still in denial about my life. It's Priya. Where are you? You've been ignoring my texts for 3 days. If you're dead, I'm going to kill you. Valerie's eyes narrow. Who is that? My friend. The one who dragged me to the club. You know, where this whole nightmare started. I'm typing back a vague response about food poisoning when Valerie snatches my phone. Don't. Her voice is sharp. They're tracking communications. Anyone you contact becomes a target. Priya has nothing to do with this. Exactly. Which is why they'll use her to get to you to get to me. She's already pulling out the SIM card, breaking it between her fingers. I'm sorry. But if you want your friend to stay safe, you need to disappear from her life for a while. The reality of the situation crashes over me like cold water. I'm not just hiding a criminal. I'm in actual danger. My friends are in danger. My entire life has been upended because I made one impulsive decision in an alley. Hey! Valerie's hand cups my face, forcing me to meet her eyes. Breathe. You're safe. I won't let anything happen to you. You can't promise that. You're actively being hunted. Then we'll be hunted together. She says it like it's simple, like she's not offering to tie her fate to mine. I have resources. Money, weapons, people who owe me favors. We just need to get to one of my safe houses. You're in this now. They've seen you, tracked you. Even if I leave, you're a loose end. Her jaw tightens. I'm sorry. I've ruined your life. I should be angry. terrified. Instead, I'm looking at this impossible woman who reads poetry and kills people and just promised to protect me, and I'm thinking about that kiss. About the way she touches me like I'm precious. About the fact that in 3 days, she's been more real with me than most people I've known for years. My life needed ruining, I say finally. It was getting boring anyway. She stares at me like I've grown a second head. You're insane. You're literally a crime lord hiding in my apartment. We're both insane. I grab my backpack, start throwing in essentials. So where's this safe house? Dorothy, you don't have to. I know. I want to. I pause, looking at her. Really looking at her. I don't know what this is between us. Maybe it's just adrenaline and proximity and terrible decision-making. But I'm not ready to walk away yet. Are you? She crosses the room in 3 strides and kisses me again, hard and possessive. When she pulls back, her eyes are blazing. I haven't wanted anything for myself in years. Everything has been duty, family, business. But I want you. Even though I shouldn't. Even though it's dangerous. Then take me with you. You might die. I might die crossing the street. At least this way it'll be interesting. Like and subscribe because we're about to go on the run. The safe house is in Red Hook, tucked above a bakery that smells like heaven and looks like a front for organized crime, because it definitely is. The woman who greets us, Irina, is 70 if she's a day, wearing a floral apron and carrying a rolling pin that she wields like a weapon. Finally, you bring girl home, she says to Valerie in heavily accented English, looking me up and down with approval. Pretty. Smart eyes. Not terrified of you. Is good. Irina was my nanny, Valerie explains, looking embarrassed for the first time since I met her. She's been with the family for 40 years. I change your diapers. You don't get to be embarrassed. Irina beckons us inside, up narrow stairs to an apartment that's surprisingly cozy. You stay here. Is safe. I make pierogi. We need to figure out who ordered the hit, Valerie says, but Irina waves her off. First you eat. Then you plot murder. This is how we do things. She disappears into the kitchen, leaving us alone in a space filled with mismatched furniture and bookshelves. I sink onto the couch, the reality of the last 72 hours finally hitting me. I left my cat. We'll send someone to get him. Valerie sits beside me, close but not touching. Dorothy, if you want to leave, I can arrange protection. New identity, relocation. You don't have to stay in this. Do you want me to leave? No, the word is immediate fierce. But wanting you here is selfish. You'd be safer anywhere else. Safety is overrated. I lean my head on her shoulder, and she stiffens before relaxing. Besides, someone needs to make sure you don't die of stubbornness and refusal to accept help. I accept help. You tried to do stretches with a gunshot wound. You're a terrible patient. Her arm comes around me, pulling me closer. You're a terrible influence. Before you, I would have handled this professionally. Now I'm worried about your cat. Mr. Whiskers is a legitimate concern. We sit like that for a while, the absurdity of the situation not lost on me. I'm cuddling with a mafia boss who people literally call the Bloody Rose while hiding above a front bakery. My mother would have a heart attack. My mother must never, ever know about this. Tell me something, I say. Something real. Not the scary crime lord stuff. Just you. She's quiet for so long I think she won't answer. Then, I wanted to be a dancer. When I was young, before my parents died. I took ballet lessons, dreamed of performing at Lincoln Center. I turned to look at her. What happened? My father was killed when I was 12. My mother 6 months later. Dimitri took over the family, started training me to take my father's place. Her voice is matter-of-fact, but there's old pain underneath. Dancers don't lead crime families. So I put away the tutus and picked up guns. I'm sorry. Don't be. It made me strong. Capable. Feared. But the way she says it suggests she's trying to convince herself as much as me. You could go back to it. Dancing. When this is over. She laughs, but it's bitter. People like me don't get when this is over. We die young or we die old, but we always die violently. There's no retirement plan for mob bosses. That's depressing. That's reality. Reality is flexible. I sit up, facing her fully. You're already pulling back, you said so. Legitimizing operations. Maybe you could actually get out. It's not that simple. Nothing worth doing is simple. I'm warming to the idea now, getting excited despite the absurdity. You're smart, you're strategic, you have resources. If anyone could navigate an exit, it's you. And do what? Open a bakery for Real? Take up ballet at 35? Why not? People reinvent themselves all the time. She looks at me like I'm speaking a foreign language. You really believe that's possible? I believe you could do anything you set your mind to, including getting us both out of this alive. Something shifts in her expression, hope and fear mixing together. You make me want things I gave up on years ago. Good. You deserve to want things. Irina returns with food, breaking the moment, but not the feeling. We eat pierogi that taste like childhood and comfort, and Valerie makes calls on encrypted phones, putting pieces together. I watch her work, seeing the intelligence and ruthlessness that made her legendary, but also catching moments of vulnerability when she thinks I'm not looking. By evening, we have a plan. Or rather, Valerie has a plan and I'm along for the ride because I've apparently lost my survival instincts. Dimitri's hosting a meeting tomorrow night, she explains, showing me surveillance photos on a laptop. All the family heads, including Anton Volkov. They think I'm dead or dying, so they're moving forward with reorganization. That seems fast. They've been planning this for a while. The assassination was just the opening move. Her jaw clenches. I need to know who pulled the trigger, who gave the order. Then I need to make a very public appearance at that meeting. That sounds like suicide. That's why you're not coming. I cross my arms. If you think I'm staying here while you walk into a trap, you don't know me very well. Dorothy, this is different from hiding in your apartment. These are professional killers. If something goes wrong, then we deal with it together. I soften, taking her hand. Look, I know I'm not useful in a fight. I'm a teacher who once cried watching a video about penguins. But you're not doing this alone. I won't let you. You won't let me? That's right. I'm putting my foot down, which I realize carries no actual authority, but I'm doing it anyway. She stares at me for a long moment, then pulls me into a kiss that steals my breath and my common sense. You're going to get yourself killed. Probably. But I'll die having really lived. I kiss her back, softer. Besides, you need someone to watch your back. And unlike your organization, I actually care if you die. Irina cares. Irina is 70 and making pastries. She's not backup. I am excellent backup, Irina calls from the kitchen. I kill 3 men in 1987. See? Backup. I grin at Valerie's expression. We're a team now. You, me, and the murderous grandmother. Comment below if you think we survive this, because I'm not entirely sure we do. The next 24 hours are a crash course in crime family politics. Valerie fills me in on the major players while Irina alternates between baking and cleaning weapons with equal efficiency. Dimitri is my father's younger brother, Valerie explains, showing me photos. He's traditional, believes in the old ways. Violence, intimidation, territorial control. He never forgave me for being born female, thought it made the family look weak. Sounds like a peach. He raised me after my parents died. Trained me. I thought he was preparing me to lead, but really he was just making me useful until he could push me aside. What a dick. She snorts. Accurate. Then there's Anton Volkov. Another photo, this one showing a handsome man in his 40s with cold eyes. His family has been our rivals for 3 generations. We've had a truce for 5 years, but it's always been fragile. Do you think he's working with Dimitri? That's what I need to find out. If they've allied against me, I'm dealing with a united front. If they're still enemies, I might be able to play them against each other. Divide and conquer. Very Sun Tzu of you. I read extensively. She says it deadpan, but I catch the smile. There are others too. Smaller families, independents, people who might side with me if I offer the right incentives. What kind of incentives? Money, territory, promises of peace. The usual. She closes the laptop, turning to face me. Dorothy, I need you to understand something. Tomorrow night, when we go to that meeting, there's a very real chance we don't come back. I have some advantages, some surprises planned. But it's still a huge risk. I know. Do you? Because this isn't like the movies. People won't monologue. If they want us dead, they'll just shoot. There won't be dramatic speeches or last-minute rescues. I understand. She cups my face in both hands, forcing me to meet her eyes. I need you to promise me something. If it goes wrong, if I tell you to run, you run. You don't look back, you don't try to save me. You take the money in the bag Irina prepared and you disappear. Promise me. Valerie. Promise me, Dorothy. Please. I see the fear in her eyes, real and raw, and it breaks something in me. This powerful, terrifying woman is scared. Not for herself. For me. I promise I lie, because we both know I won't run. I've come too far, fallen too hard. Where she goes, I go. Even into the fire. She knows I'm lying. I can see it in her expression. But she kisses me anyway, desperate and deep, like she's trying to memorize the taste of me. We end up in the bedroom, stripping away clothes and inhibitions, making love with an intensity that feels like goodbye. Afterward, we lie tangled together, her fingers tracing patterns on my skin. I never thought I'd have this, she whispers. Something real. Someone who sees past the blood and the reputation. I see all of you, I tell her. The scary parts and the soft parts. The killer and the woman who wanted to dance. And I'm not going anywhere. You should. Too bad. You're stuck with me now. She pulls me closer, and we fall asleep like that, two women against the world, pretending tomorrow isn't coming. Subscribe for what happens at the meeting because it's about to get wild. Tomorrow arrives whether we want it or not. Valerie is up early, moving through combat drills that make my muscles ache just watching. She's different today. Colder. More focused. The woman who held me last night is gone, replaced by the bloody Rose everyone fears. Wear this, she says, tossing me a bulletproof vest. It goes under your clothes. And this. A small gun, compact and deadly. I don't know how to use that. Point, pull trigger. It's intuitive. She's checking her own weapons, an arsenal that seems excessive until I remember we're walking into a room full of people who want her dead. Valerie. She looks up. Whatever happens today, I don't regret any of this. Her expression softens, just for a moment. I do. I regret pulling you into my mess. But I can't regret knowing you. Even if it's the last thing I do, I'll never regret you. Well, that's ominous. I'm a realist. You're a pessimist with excellent cheekbones. She almost smiles. Come here. I cross to her, and she pulls me into a kiss that feels like a promise and a threat. When we break apart, she rests her forehead against mine. Stay behind me at all times. Don't speak unless I tell you to. And if I give you the signal, you run. Understood. What's the signal? I'll say your full name. Dorothy Clay. When you hear that, you run. Got it. I'm serious, Dorothy. I know. I'll run. Another lie, but she doesn't call me on it. We both know what we're walking into. We both know the odds. The meeting is at a restaurant in Brighton Beach, closed for a private event that everyone knows means mob business. Valerie walks in like she owns the place, and I follow one step behind, trying to channel confidence I absolutely don't feel. The room falls silent when they see her. Dmitri is at the head of the table, older than Valerie with gray hair and eyes like chips of ice. Anton Volkov sits to his right, handsome and dangerous. There are maybe 10 other people scattered around, all of them staring at us like we're ghosts. Hello, Uncle, Valerie says pleasantly. Sorry I'm late. I got shot. Valerie. Dmitri recovers quickly, his face arranging into false concern. We heard you were attacked. We've been searching for you. Funny. The people who attacked me seemed to know exactly where I'd be. Almost like someone told them. She walks farther into the room, and I feel every eye tracking us. Who wants to confess? Silence. No one? Pity. I was hoping we could handle this civilly. She pulls out a chair, sits like she's at a casual dinner party. I'll save us all time. Dmitri, you ordered the hit. You've been planning it for months, waiting for the right opportunity. That's a serious accusation, Dmitri says, but his hand moves toward his jacket. Valerie is faster, her gun already drawn. Don't. We both know how this ends if you try that. The room erupts. Men reaching for weapons, chairs scraping back, someone shouting in Russian. I press against the wall, my heart hammering so hard I think it might break through my ribs. Enough. Valerie's voice cuts through the chaos, cold and absolute. Everyone sit down. Now. They do. Because even outnumbered and wounded, she's still the most dangerous person in the room. Here's what's going to happen, she continues, gun never wavering from Dmitri. I'm going to explain exactly how I know you're guilty. Then I'm going to offer each of you a choice. After that, well, we'll see who survives the night. You're bluffing, Dmitri says. You have no proof. I have your accountant. Valerie nods to Irina, who's apparently been hiding in the kitchen this whole time. The old woman emerges with a laptop and a terrified-looking man in his 50s. Sergei has been very cooperative. Haven't you, Sergei? Sergei nods frantically. She promised not to kill me. I promise to consider not killing you. There's a difference. Valerie keeps her gun on Dmitri while Irina sets up the laptop, projecting financial records onto the wall. These show payments from Dmitri to the Belarusian crew that attacked me. Quite a lot of payments, actually. Very thorough planning. Murmurs around the table. People shifting, loyalties recalculating in real time. And here, Valerie continues as Irina clicks through documents. We have communications between Dmitri and Anton Volkov discussing terms of an alliance. My death in exchange for control of the ports. Anton's hand moves, and suddenly there are 3 guns pointed at him from Valerie's people who I didn't even realize were in the room. When did they get here? How long has she been planning this? I'm impressed, Anton says, raising his hands slowly. You faked your own death. I allowed you to think I was vulnerable. There's a difference. Valerie stands, moving around the table like a predator circling prey. The assassination attempt was real. But I knew it was coming. So I made preparations. How did you know? Dmitri demands. Because you're predictable, uncle. You've been undermining me for years, whispering to the old guard that I'm too soft, too modern, too female. You thought I didn't notice. I noticed everything. She stops behind his chair, pressing the gun to his head. You trained me too well. The room is completely silent. I can hear my own heartbeat, feel sweat dripping down my spine despite the vest. So what now? Dmitri asks. You kill me in front of everyone? That makes you look weak. No. I give you a choice. Valerie moves back around to face him. You can die here, tonight, as a traitor. Or you can retire. Publicly. Announce you're stepping down due to health issues, that you support my leadership. You keep your life, your house, a generous pension. But you're done. You think the families will accept that? I think the families will accept whatever I tell them to accept. She addresses the room now. I'm tired of the old ways. Tired of violence being our first solution. Tired of treating this like it's still 1985. We're going to evolve. Legitimize. Become something more than thugs with territory. That's not how this works, someone says from the back. It is now. Because I'm in charge, and anyone who disagrees can join Dmitri in retirement. Or death, depending on how cooperative they want to be. She holsters her gun, a power move that makes my stomach drop. Here's the new deal. We consolidate. Cut out the street-level crime, the protection rackets, the violence. We keep the profitable businesses, clean them up, become legitimate. It'll take time, but we do it right. And if we refuse? Anton asks. Then we have a war. Right here, right now. And I promise you, I've been preparing for this much longer than you have. I have loyalists in every family, evidence of crimes that would send most of you to prison for life, and absolutely nothing left to lose. She glances at me for just a second, and I see the truth. She does have something to lose. Me. So what's it going to be? The silence stretches. Then, slowly, Anton stands. I accept your terms, Anton says, and the room collectively exhales. The Volkov family will support the transition. We're tired of war too. Dmitri looks around, sees the shift in the room, the way people are nodding, considering. His face twists with rage. You're all cowards. She's making us weak. No, Valerie says quietly. I'm making us smart. There's a difference. That's when Dmitri moves. Fast for an old man, pulling a gun from somewhere I didn't see. Time slows down, fractures into terrible clarity. He's not aiming at Valerie. He's aiming at me. If I can't have the family, you can't have happiness, he snarls, and I see his finger tighten on the trigger. Valerie throws herself in front of me. The gunshot is deafening in the enclosed space, and she goes down hard, blood blooming across her shoulder. Before Dmitri can fire again, 3 of Valerie's people shoot him. He drops like a puppet with cut strings. No, no, no. I'm on the floor, hands pressing against Valerie's new wound, the old one, everything bleeding too much. You idiot, you complete idiot. Why did you do that? Couldn't let him shoot you, she gasps, face pale. Bad for my reputation. Your reputation? You're bleeding again. I just stitched you up, you can't keep getting shot. I'll try to schedule my assassination attempts better next time. She's trying to joke, but I can see the pain in her eyes. Someone call a doctor. I scream at the room full of criminals who are all standing there like useless statues. No. Irina is already moving, phone to her ear, barking orders in Russian. Anton kneels beside us, pressing his jacket against Valerie's shoulder. The doctor's 10 minutes away. She'll make it. She better. I'm crying now, can't seem to stop. You promised not to die. We had plans. Stupid plans about furniture and ballet and a normal life. Still planning on that, Valerie manages, her hand finding mine. Just might take a bit longer. The doctor arrives in 8 minutes, which I know because I count every second. They work on Valerie right there on the restaurant floor while I hold her other hand and try not to fall apart completely. The bullet missed anything vital, passed clean through. Lucky, the doctor says. Lucky. I want to laugh. Or scream. Maybe both. 2 hours later, Valerie is stitched up properly this time, pumped full of antibiotics and painkillers, and looking at me with eyes that are too knowing. You were supposed to run, she says. You said my full name wrong. Dorothy Clay, remember? You just said Dorothy. The signal didn't count. That's not how signals work. That's exactly how signals work. I'm very particular about pronunciation. I'm still holding her hand, can't seem to let go. Also, you jumped in front of a bullet for me. So we're even on the stupid heroics front. I couldn't let him shoot you. I couldn't let you die alone. She pulls me down into a kiss that tastes like blood and relief and tomorrow. I love you, Dorothy Clay. Full name, properly pronounced. I love you. I love you too, you reckless, dramatic, infuriating woman. I kiss her again, gentler. But if you get shot one more time, I'm breaking up with you. Reasonable boundary. The meeting, surprisingly, continues once Valerie is stable. Anton takes charge of organizing the transition, and it turns out half the families were ready for change anyway. Dmitri had been holding them back, threatening anyone who suggested evolution. With him gone, there's almost relief in the room. We'll need time, Anton says, looking at Valerie, who's sitting up now despite the doctor's protests. You can't just flip a switch and go legitimate. I know. 5 years, maybe 10. But we start now. She outlines the plan, and I'm struck by how much thought she's put into this. She's been planning an exit for longer than I realized, maybe years. We clean up operations slowly. Invest in legal businesses. Distance ourselves from anything that could bring federal attention. What about you? Someone asks. You staying in charge? Valerie glances at me. For now. Until the transition is stable. Then I'm retiring. The room erupts in protests, questions, concern. She silences them with a raised hand. I've given this family 20 years. I've bled for it, killed for it, sacrificed everything for it. I'm done. I want a life. Her fingers lace through mine. And I found someone worth having that life with. This is because of her? One of the old guard, a man with scars and suspicion. You're abandoning the family for some woman? Careful, Valerie says, voice dropping to that dangerous register. You're talking about the person I love. The person who saved my life. Show respect or leave. He leaves. So do 2 others. But most stay, and slowly, carefully, they start planning a future that doesn't end in blood. Like, comment, and subscribe because the real story is just beginning. 3 months later, I'm back in my classroom, teaching third graders about primary colors while trying not to think about the fact that my girlfriend is a reforming crime lord. It's harder than it sounds. Miss Clay, is it true you have a really cool girlfriend? Asks Emma, one of my students who has absolutely no filter. Where did you hear that? My mom saw you at the bakery with a pretty lady. She said you looked happy. Your mom is very observant. I redirect to the lesson because I'm not about to explain my relationship to 8-year-olds. Now, who can tell me what happens when we mix blue and yellow? Green, they chorus, and I'm grateful for the simplicity of color theory. My phone buzzes during lunch break. Valerie, dinner tonight? I promise no one tries to kill us. Me? You said that last week and we ended up in a car chase. Valerie, that was barely a chase. More of a spirited pursuit. Me? You drove through a farmer's market. Valerie, and I paid for all damages. I'm very responsible now. I'm smiling at my phone like a complete fool when Priya appears in my doorway. We've been slowly rebuilding our friendship after I had to ghost her for weeks. She knows some of what happened, the sanitized version where I helped someone in trouble and got caught up in dangerous situations. She doesn't know the full truth. She can never know the full truth. You're glowing, she observes, stealing a carrot from my lunch. New relationship energy looks good on you. It's been 3 months. Still counts. She studies me. You're happy. Really happy. I haven't seen you like this in years. I am happy. It's true. Despite the danger, the complications, the fact that I occasionally have nightmares about gunshots and blood, I'm happier than I've ever been. She's amazing. That evening, I meet Valerie at a restaurant in the West Village. Not the Russian places in Brighton Beach where people know her, fear her, but a small Italian spot where we can pretend to be normal people on a normal date. She's already there when I arrive, wearing jeans and a sweater that make her look impossibly soft. The transformation still startles me sometimes. This woman who once ordered executions now worries about whether the pasta is too al dente. You're staring, she says as I sit down. You're beautiful. I'm allowed to stare. I've been beautiful for months. You should be used to it by now. Never getting used to it. Sorry. I reach across the table, taking her hand. How was your day? Any crimes? Light treason? Jaywalking. I closed a deal on a restaurant chain. Completely legal, thoroughly boring. But she's smiling. I hated every minute of being legitimate. Liar. You loved it. Fine, I loved it. She squeezes my hand. It's strange, doing business without the threat of violence. People actually negotiate in good faith. Who knew? Normal people knew. Welcome to the regular world. I don't know if I'll ever be regular. There's uncertainty in her voice, vulnerability she rarely shows. What if I'm too damaged for this? For normal? First, there's no such thing as normal. Second, you're not damaged, you're healing. There's a difference. I lean forward. Besides, I don't want normal. Normal is boring. I want you, with all your complicated history and your Russian poetry and your tendency to solve problems with excessive force. I'm working on that last part. I know. And I'm proud of you. I am. She's been going to therapy, actual therapy, processing decades of trauma and violence. She's cut ties with the most dangerous parts of the organization, delegated, stepped back. But even if you weren't changing, I'd still love you. You know that, right? I'm starting to believe it. She signals the waiter, and when he leaves, she turns back to me with an expression I can't quite read. I have something for you. If it's another bulletproof vest, I already have 3. It's not a vest. She pulls out a small box and my heart stops. Before you panic, it's not what you think. Well, actually, she opens the box to reveal a simple silver ring with a small diamond. It is exactly what you think. I stare at the ring, then at her, my mouth opening and closing like a fish. Dorothy Clay, she says, and her voice is steady even though her hands are shaking. 3 months ago, you saved my life in an alley. You stitched me up with craft supplies and terrible jokes. You kissed me when you should have run. You chose me over safety, over common sense, over everything. Valerie. Let me finish. Please. She takes a breath. I never believed in happy endings. I thought people like me didn't get them, didn't deserve them. But you proved me wrong. You showed me that it's never too late to change, to grow, to become someone better. I love you more than I thought I was capable of loving anything. And I want to spend whatever time we have learning to be better together. So, Dorothy Clay, will you marry me? The restaurant around us fades away. It's just her, just us, just this impossible moment that somehow feels inevitable. Yes, I manage through tears. Yes, of course, yes. She slides the ring on my finger, and then we're kissing while the other diners applaud. When we finally break apart, I'm grinning so hard my face hurts. You learned to be romantic, I say. When did that happen? I've been practicing. Irina helped. Of course she did. I look at the ring, at her, at this future that seemed impossible in that alley 4 months ago. I can't believe this is my life. Good or bad. Perfect. I kiss her again, softer. Terrifying and complicated and occasionally life-threatening, but perfect. I can work on the life-threatening part. Please do. I'd like to make it to our wedding without being shot at. She laughs, and it's full and genuine and everything I never knew I needed. I promise to do my best. No guarantees, but I'll try. That's all I ask. We spend the rest of dinner planning, dreaming, imagining a future together. She tells me about the restaurant chain, about her therapy sessions, about the book of poetry she's been reading. I tell her about my students, about the mural project we're starting, about my terrible ideas for wedding themes. No mob bosses at the wedding, I say firmly. Just friends and family. Normal people. Anton will be offended. Anton can deal with it. This is our day. Normal, boring, safe. Nothing about us will ever be boring, Dorothy. True. But we can try. She raises her glass. To trying. To normal. To us. To us, I echo, and we drink to a future that starts right here, right now, with a ring on my finger and love in my heart. Like and subscribe, because this is just the beginning of our story. A story that started in blood and chaos, but is becoming something beautiful. Something real. Something worth fighting for. And as I sit across from this impossible woman who jumped in front of a bullet for me, who's changing her entire life to build something with me, I know one thing for certain. I'd make that same choice in that alley 1,000 times over. Because some people are worth the risk. Some love is worth the danger. And Valerie Adams, the bloody rose of Brighton Beach, my fiancé, is worth everything. The end. Don't forget to comment below with your thoughts on Dorothy and Valerie's journey, and hit that subscribe button for more stories about love, danger, and second chances.